Victor Wembanyama has been one of the most hyped up rookies of all time. He is coming into the league with massive expectations on his shoulders before ever playing a single minute in the NBA. So today we're going to put him to the test, but there's a twist. Some of the best centers ever are joining the NBA. Shaq is back in the Lakers to team up with LeBron. Olajuwon joins the young Rockets lineup. Chamberlain joins the Dynasty Warriors, and a whole lot more to come. But for now, the question is, can Wembanyama live up to the hype? We're going to find out by seeing if he can win a regular season MVP along with a ring versus this elite competition. Heading into Wemby's rookie year, things were looking good as he was agile and able to score efficiently like his fans were hopeful for, and it would lead him to earning the Rookie of the Year honors. But this season wasn't without issues as he matched up versus much stronger bigs at his position, and the flaws were glaring. Guys like Malone were able to power through him, and with shortcomings from his team, they'd be missing the playoffs in year one. But James Harden would sign in free agency the next year and drastically elevate the Spurs offense. Not only was he a playmaker, but he also drew in the defense, which opened things up for Wemby. He improved his own personal game and made some big strides this season, earned his first All-Star appearance, even with as much talent there is at the center position. The dominant play from the Spurs' new duo would land them a good enough record to be in the play-in, where they would face a prime Bill Walton, and his co-star certainly surprised me.
Giddy's on the Blazer, and there's no Damian Lillard. There's no way they traded him, right? They actually traded Dame for Giddy and a first-round pick. My first 2K24 sim already has craziness happening.
The trade seemed to be playing off though, as these two together were definitely a problem. Walton was shorter but had a huge strength advantage, and things weren't looking good for Wembanyama.
It's late in this playing game. The Spurs desperately need a stop. They maybe have enough time if they get a miracle, but it's looking like Josh Giddey and Bill Walton pick and roll again. Giddy, the lane. Oh my God, they can't stop him. Wemby's going to be losing again in year two.
By this point, fans were becoming skeptical for Wembanyama, and the media was questioning if he could perform. Wemby would take on the challenge though by training with his team, and even after they left, he'd get in the gym by himself to try and perfect his game prior to the upcoming season. And the results were incredible. Victor was taking the league by storm and had evolved every aspect of his game. It was by far his most impressive season to date, and he and his team were making their first official playoff appearance. With them being matched up versus Minnesota, it was going to be a pretty easy series. Wemby dominated on both ends of the court after Cat left, and he was advancing for his first time easily. But round two would be sure to test Wemby to his core. Woltez won the last 3 MVPs and was a huge issue for Victor. On the defensive end, he was shutting down the paint, and on the flip side, Wemby had no hope of containing him, and while the Spurs would steal a game, they were being bounced just as fast as they got there. After underperforming in year 3, he would have another great season in year 4 on his way to the playoffs again. This time around, the Pelicans were waiting in round 1, and Wemby was coming out swinging early, but so was Zion, and he was swinging hard. After 48 minutes elapsed, Zion had upset the Spurs in San Antonio for game 1. The Pelicans' luck was running out though as the Spurs retaliated for game 2, and in enemy territory for game 3 and 4, they would dominate all for a chance to advance late in game 5. This game 5 is super close here with Wembanyama trying to advance to round 2. He is up by 1 right now with 60 seconds remaining. He has the ball here at the top. 9 seconds left on the shot clock. What is Victor Wembanyama gonna do? He's driving around that screen all the way. The lane, that's tough. He makes it in though. He gets it through the contact. The Pelicans now have a chance to answer. Wembanyama completely absorbed that contact from the defense. Zion Williamson has it. He gets bumped. He loses it. He picks it back up. Zion has it now. 18 seconds remaining, down by 3. They kick into the corner. Cling clang. He doesn't shoot it. I didn't know what that is. It's just Bronny James driving it in versus James Harden. Cling clang with the screen. Driving right in. 1 minute beat Wembanyama. They get a cling clang. Where is Zion in all this? Bronny from a mile away from Dallas. It's off. San Antonio has a chance now to extend this to a 2-possession game. They're fouling. I would have played defense. If Wemby hits his free throw, it might be over. He hits number 1. You hit number 2. It's pretty much over in this climactic game 5. Wemby's trying to advance to round 2 again. Get back to where he was last year. He gets it done. He's headed to round 2. And just like last year, round 2 was going to be rough again. Wemby was balling out versus the incredible defender of Olajuwon, but Hakeem was doing his thing too on offense. His extensive postgame was apparent as ever, and this series was scarily similar to last year, with Wemby being down 2-0. But San Antonio was far too proud of a team to be going out like this. The Spurs unit came primed to get back into this series at home. With their fans cheering them on, they were outplaying the Rockets by a long shot. It looked like they had a chance with this one. The The series wasn't close to over, and it showed as they'd come out their homestand all tied up. In the following 2 games, both players would split the wins again to set up a climactic Game 7. The pinnacle of this series was a head-to-head war between the 2 centers. They were matching one another every trip down and were by far the 2 focal points of the match. It was becoming more of a slugfest than a chess-like match as many expected. Neither player seemed to be able to get their team the edge over the other until Wembanyama had the slightest edge late and Hakeem had one final chance to counter. The Spurs are up by 1 right now with 11 seconds left in the game. Game 7. The Houston Rockets have it. Wemby has got his team the edge. Can Hakeem Olajuwon match him and get the win? 4 seconds left. It's looking like they're going to go to Thompson from deep, from way downtown. It's no good. The Spurs are advancing. Wembanyama's on his way to the conference finals. The conference finals will be a lot easier for the Spurs with 6'9" Bob McAdoo sticking Wemby. McAdoo was an incredible player in his time, but this size mismatch was just way too much to compensate for. Victor was entirely in control of the matchup, and he'd be helping his team get into NBA Finals for the first time. The finals will be a historic matchup with the Spurs and the Heat, but this Heat team isn't what you would expect. Yo, how did Miami get all of these guys? I mean, they had Alonzo Mourning because he's the best center in Heat history, but how did they get Luka, DeAndre Ayton? Where did Brandon Ingram come from? This is insane. Luka was ravaging the San Antonio defense, and with sharpshooters like Tyler Hero spacing the floor, they would be a very tough matchup. Wemby was giving it 110% on both ends of the floor, but things weren't looking good. Down 3-0 in the series, and at home in Game 4, Wemby was being crushed by Alonzo Mourning. Zoe brought his A game with him, and Victor was getting swept in his first ever finals appearance. Wembanyama probably had one of the worst finals games of all time. 3 for 20 from the field is just unacceptable. Hopefully he can rebound from that performance next season. The next year, Harden changed teams and everything was all on Wembanyama. He was now becoming the main ball handler without a reliable point guard on the team, but he fit the role perfect. And on defense, he was electrifying, averaging over 3 blocks per game. His offensive bag was strong. He was in the 50-40-90 club for the first time, and more importantly, he was rewarded his first MVP of his career. While the regular season was bright, the postseason unfortunately wasn't. A DeMarcus Cousins-led Kings team would upset the Spurs in round 1. I don't understand how as a 7th seed you lose to these 2nd seeded Kings. I get you don't have a point guard, but come on, Victor. By 2029, the regular season had become more of a formality than anything else, as the Spurs were near guarantees to make the playoffs. They still had no reliable point guard, but Wembanyama was not phased, and he pushed his team to the 2nd seed. While Wemby gets another MVP, he's looking like one of the best players in the league. He still has not got a championship though. Maybe this can be the year. No, it isn't. While he completely crushed a team of Shaq, Devin Booker, and Evan Mobley in round 1 and follow that up with defeating Minnesota for the 2nd time, he'd ultimately be halted in his tracks in round 3. The Warriors not only still have Will Chamberlain dominating, but now they added Giannis, who was still playing great, and the young Bronny James facilitating it all. They were just too much, and the Spurs would fall again. Things were changing though in year 7 as Victor was getting his first star teammate since Harden, as LaMelo would join the team. The relief of defensive pressure with LaMelo's addition couldn't go unstated, and the team looked incredible as they were headed into a playoff matchup versus Portland as the 1 seed. Victor in this year's playoffs looked like a man possessed. He was cruising by Portland and would swiftly make it to round 2 versus a Jason Tatum-led Clippers roster, but Wembanyama and LaMelo would make quick work of them as well. And in the conference finals is Shaq, Evan Mobley, and Devin Booker, which I think is better than playing Giannis, Will Chamberlain, and Luka, which is what the Warriors had. They got upset though. Let's see if Wemby can handle the Lakers and make it to the finals. Victor would definitely have his hands full in the paint with both Shaq and Mobley harassing him down low, but he was making things work even through the immense size that LA was throwing at him. Along with that, LaMelo was getting everyone involved and elevating their games, and things were looking great for San Antonio. It wasn't going to be a cakewalk though, and LA's teams were coming correct as well. Shaq was still the most dominant player in NBA history, and there was no slowing him down. Both teams played differently, but they'd be back and forth until the Spurs were up 3-2, and with a massive Wembanyama performance in Game 6, there was a chance to advance to the finals. In this Game 6, the Spurs are currently up by 1 with just over a minute remaining. They've been in a close game here before. Can they do it again versus the Lakers here tonight? McCain with the ball. He gets it to Anthony Davis. Shaq setting some off-ball screens, trying to get involved here. They're throwing it down low to Pirtle instead of Shaq. Pirtle delivers, though. I can't believe they even gave him the ball. Coming out of a timeout, let's see what San Antonio drew up here. Victor Wembanyama with it at the top with Shaq on him. Wemby trying to blow by him, trying to use that speed to his advantage. He picks up his dribble here from Evan Mobley. Fantastic defender. Wemby loses the ball. Mobley with it. The Lakers on the fast break. Shaq's ahead of the pack. They slow it down. They get it to Mobley. They're swinging around. Devin Booker with it now. 14 seconds left on this shot clock. They get down low to Shaq. That's a mismatch. Shaq's lay is good. San Antonio with it now. Wemby has it. They're down by 3. The odds of this match are not looking good for San Antonio. He's driving in on Shaq. Wemby, the tough leg. That was not a good look. Devin Booker has it now, and they're probably gonna foul. With Booker hitting both free throws, this was pretty much over unless the Spurs are able to get a quick 3. They had Grady Dick wide open. LaMelo was open to the court. They wasted so much time to get down low to Knox. Wembanyama in the post. You kind of need a 3 here. He misses the lay. He gets the board though. Maybe the putback and 1. That's in. They could get an inbound steal. It's possible. Anything is possible here. Oh, they're forcing the clock. Oh my God. Devin Booker gets the line again. With Booker hitting both of these free throws, that's pretty much going to do it. We have a Game 7 back in San Antonio. In the Game 7, Victor had his playoff career high of 42 points in front of the home crowd. Nothing LA threw at him seemed to be able to stop him, and he was taking home Conference Finals MVP and advancing to the NBA Finals. And in the Finals, they have this Pacers team, which I got to be honest, they got a young Cooper Flag, Bob Lanier, for who is Keon Malone. This might be easy for Wembanyama. And my guess would be proving to be right, as Victor and the Spurs were manhandling this young Pacers team. Their lack of depth and experience greatly showed, and the Spurs would be making this finals an anticlimactic one. Because after just 4 games, Victor was going on to hoist the championship and complete this challenge. But what if I challenge Jordan and Kobe to race to 99 overall? Find out by clicking this video.